Hey, if you want to automate Excel using Power Automate Desktop, there are a few things you must get right, like launching Excel, reading data, managing sheet, and closing Excel properly. And if you miss even one step, your flow breaks. And in this video, you will learn everything we need to know about how to build a rock solid Excel automation. Welcome to this fundamental lesson on Excel automation with Power Automate Desktop. By the end of this video, you will be ready to automate any Excel file with confidence. Before we touch any action in the Excel automation, you need to understand how PAD communicates with Excel. Every time PAD launches, the Power Automate Desktop launches Excel, it creates an Excel instance. And you can think of it as a remote control. So every Excel action depends on this instance only. We will look at it in detail when we are working on it practically. And you need to understand very clearly about the difference between your workbook and a worksheet. Your workbook is the file, the Excel file, which you are going to use for automation. And the worksheet is the number of sheets inside that particular workbook. The Power Automate Desktop need to know which sheet we are going to work on. You can open and work with Excel in two modes. One is a visible mode, another one is an invisible mode. When you are developing the flow and you are testing the flow, it is always better to keep it in the visible mode, and when your flow is developed and tested and it is deployed for production, it is better to keep it in invisible mode as it is faster. And we need to remember that the Power Automate Desktop works only with the desktop version of Excel. It will not work with the Excel online. So we need to be aware of it. The Excel file which you are going to work on is in protected view. Power Automate Desktop cannot read or write to that particular file. If the file is downloaded, make sure that it is not protected, and if it is so, you unblock the protected view. And Excel actions run one after another. If an Excel workbook which you have worked on is not closed properly, it will not work and the flow will fail in your next run. Let us learn how we can read an Excel sheet. I have an Excel sheet already available as a sample. This is a simple sales report sent by a sales executive to his manager. In this file, we have a header section where we have the name of the salesman, his region, and the date on which he has reported. And we have a range of cells where his sales details are also provided. The first thing what we are going to do is we are going to launch Excel, read this Excel file, and going to read the name, the region, and the report date from this Excel sheet. How we can do it? Let us jump directly to the flow and create a new flow and call it read from Excel workbook. The first thing we need to do is to launch Excel. So I'm going to the Excel action group, and in that I have a launch Excel, and then you have an option whether you want to launch Excel with a blank document or you want to open an existing document. I want to open the following document. We need to define the file path of that particular Excel workbook, which you can do it by using this select file dialog. My file is in desktop inside that weekly sales report, and since I kept this file open, it says the file is in use. So what all I'm going to do is I'm going to close this file and open again. So it has provided the complete path of the file. If you know the path of the file, you can type also. And then you can make the instance of the Excel as visible or invisible. If you are keeping it as visible, you will be able to see the Excel file opening and doing the operation. If it is invisible, everything will be done in the background. You will not be able to see the Excel file opening. And I'm going to the advanced. The file is protected. You can use the password. Right now, we are not going to look at it. And it produces a variable called Excel instance. This is one of the very important variable because with this only we will be doing all the operation. So I say my Excel instance and press save. Now we need to read one particular cell value from Excel. How we will be doing it? I am going to use read from Excel worksheet, the next action, and the instance, the Excel instance is my Excel instance. It will come automatically since there is only one Excel instance. If you have more than one Excel instance, then you may need to select the appropriate one, and you have option to read the value from a single cell or from a range of cells. Like this you have. We will right now we will stick to a single cell. Then we will see how to read from a range of cell too. I am using this. And the start column, from which column you want to read and which row you want to read. Let me just open this Excel file so that we see how this data looks like. I want to read the salesman. The salesman is in row 1 and column 2. The start column is 2 and the start row is 1. The variable produced is name of salesman. And one of the thing we need to be very clear is once the operation is completed, we need to close the Excel. Otherwise, it will be locked and you either need to shut down your entire computer and restart again, or you need to go to the task manager and kill the Excel process. So that we will learn about it later. For now, I am just going to close this Excel sheet. I am not going to save this and press save. Now let us run and see whether it is reading the data. Yes, it has already run and it has read the data and provided Arif Muhammad. In the similar way, let us read the value of the region and the report date also as separate variables. The region is in the second row, second column. Report date is in third row, second column. Let us close it for now. Go to our flow again and again add another action called read from Excel. Same instance, retrieving the value of a single cell. The start column is 2 and the start row is 2 and it is region. Let us add another action here. The same read from Excel. Start column is 2, start row is 3 and call it as report date. Let's run and see. Yes, it has read the salesman name and it has read the region and it has also read the report date and converted into a date time value. If you open our Excel sheet and see, it is not only having the salesman name, region and the report date, but it has the transaction data also. And we need to read this. So how do we read it? Let us go to the flow again. I am keeping this close Excel here so that we are not forgetting it. Let us keep it always here. Again, I am adding one more action called read from Excel worksheet. And I am using the same Excel instance what we have. And instead of value from a single cell, and I am selecting the value from a range of cell. So you have the option to define the start column and the start row and end column and end row. If you open our Excel sheet, it starts from column 1, row 4 and it ends at row 12, 10th column. Go here. Start column is 1 and start row is 4 and end column is 10 and end row is 12. And we can define whether our first line of the range contains a column name or not. If you go back to our Excel sheet, yes, the first row of the range is the column name. So let us say that yes, it is, and we'll say daily sales data. So far, we have seen only a single variable, but this is having a set of data. Let us see how it reads. Before that, let me close this particular file and run the flow. It has opened the Excel and it has produced a list called daily sales data, that because that is what is a variable we have defined. If you open this and see, so it has produced a data table. The data table will have columns and rows. We will learn about how to manipulate it in our forthcoming session, but right now all we need to know is how we can read a range of cells. When you define the row and column, we say our column value is a numeric 1 and end column is 10. It is not necessary that you need to define it in numbers. If you open our sales report, our first column is A and our last column is J. So I can simply define the first column is A and the end column is J and say save. We get the same result. Our flow is run successfully and we are able to read the data what we need. But there is one risk which we have not seen. If you open our Excel sheet and see, there are 3 sheets in it. The data what we are reading is in sheet 1, which is the first sheet, and when we save this, the first sheet is active. Now let us assume I am moving this sheet 2 as the first sheet and I am making this as active and saving and closing this file. Now if I run, the flow is run successfully, but we don't get any data. This is blank, region is blank, and similarly if you go to the daily sales data, that also is blank. That is because our active sheet as of now is sheet 2. Now how to solve this particular problem? Even though sheet 1 is in second sheet, we need to read this particular data. For that, we need to use the set active Excel worksheet action. As soon as I launch this Excel, I am adding the set active Excel worksheet action, and in that activate the worksheet with either the name or the index. I will open the name and say sheet 1 is going to be my active worksheet. Now let me close this. Let us see what will happen if I am keeping this particular file open. When I run it, it gets stuck over here. Why? Because there is an error message which is getting displayed as the biweekly sales report rf.xls is open in another application. Please close it and try again. So, and then it will throw an error also. Close that Excel worksheet, and then if you run it, now this time it has set the active worksheet as sheet 1. You can either use sheet 1 or you select the number index, and our sheet 1 is worksheet index 2, so we can use this, and it has provided the result, and our data table value also is rated. I hope we learned about how to open the Excel and read the data from the Excel, either as a cell or as a range. In the next video, we will look at another challenge, and until then, bye bye.